Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kimberly Peeler-Allen, co-founder of Higher Heights, and thank you so much for your interest in hosting a Sister to Sister Salon as part of our Truth Tellers, the National Night of Sister to Sister Salon Conversations that we are holding on Tuesday, October 16th at 7 p.m. Eastern. We're so excited about the night. It will be really memorable for all that participate. We are in the process of planning 100 salon conversations all across the country taking place at the same time, talking about the importance of Black women voting and also mobilizing our networks to the polls. Because we know when we get fired up, we don't go to the polls alone. So if we could do a quick roll call for those who are on. If you are watching the webinar, there is a chat box to the left-hand side of your screen. For those of you who are listening by phone, you can text us questions during the conversation this afternoon to 646-206-5357. Again, that number is 646-206-5357. For those of you who are watching, if you want to drop into the chat box on the left-hand side of your screen, what city you are in, that would be fantastic. We are really excited. We have women who have signed up all over the country. We have a large group in Texas, a large group in North Carolina. There's some in Philly, a couple in Ohio. We're just really, really excited. Houston, Brooklyn, Long Island, New York, fantastic. Welcome. We're so glad to have you as part of this afternoon's conversation and also part of our National Night of Sister to Sister Salon Conversations. So I'm going to take you through what it takes to put together a salon and the things that need to happen between now and October 16th to make sure that you're successful, and then also make sure you know what we're planning on doing between the October 16th and November 6th, which is D-Day for all of us all across the country for the election. So this night of salons, as I said, we are looking to have 100 salons taking place simultaneously all across the country so that we can measure and really raise our collective voice on the power of our vote and mobilizing our networks to the polls to make sure that our elected officials take into account our priorities and represent us appropriately. So, for those of you who may have participated in a salon conversation before, we're doing things a little different. Our previous salon conversations have focused on Black women's leadership and civic engagement overall. This year, we are focusing on the vote and the importance in voting in this midterm election and every election upcoming. And then the other piece that is different from previous salons is we are looking to measure engagement of our participants. We're going to be doing 3 quick surveys. They take about 2 minutes each, one before the salon conversation, which is basically asking if people feel that they are regular voters. They vote in every election. What are the types of things that motivate them to go to the polls? And then the second survey after participating in a salon conversation, how likely are you to vote in November? Do you feel that you have the tools that you need to mobilize your network to the polls? And what do you have you figured out your voting plan to go vote? Because we know that voting on a random Tuesday for many states who don't have early voting is not something that we do every day. So trying to make sure that we carve out the time and put it on the schedule to make sure that it happens. And then after the election, we'll also be surveying all of the participants to see, were the comments and engagement during the Sister to Sister Salon conversation and then the messaging that we will be doing after the salons, did it really make a difference? did the participants go to vote? Did they bring people with them? Did they talk to people in their network about the importance of voting? And then most importantly, what type of civic engagement, or do they plan on increasing their civic engagement after Election Day and moving forward? So those are three places in addition to the actual Salon conversation that we'll be using to really help provide the data around what are the best practices and make recommendations of the best ways to mobilize Black women and our networks to the polls so that we can have sustained investment to continue to expand our voting bloc and make sure that our voices are indeed heard in the American political discourse. So these salons have always been and continue to be the Higher Heights' best way to make sure that we have our finger on the pulse of the priorities of Black women. We gauge ourselves as the authentic political voice for Black women, and the way that we're able to continue to do that is by talking to Black women like you and those of you in your network to make sure that we're prioritizing and championing and sharing information that you find useful, that is that helps you increase your civic engagement, whether it is thinking about how you register more of your neighbors to go vote, or what your own personal political path is up the leadership ladder. So to be able to do all of this and be able to really put together the data that we will be sharing immediately following the salons, and we'll talk more about the timelines of when the materials that you use during the salon are due back to the office here in New York, so that we can share those talk points with the media and stakeholders to help shape the narrative around Black women's voting performance in the midterm elections. To help do all of this, we are using a great new tool called Mixer. Mixer is a platform that was designed with feminine organizing principles, leading from the center of the circle, sharing responsibility, and growing from the grassroots. In a word, they say Mixer was built to rally your community and get things done. So we are in the process of installing the Mixer plugin on our website, which will be up probably before the end of the day today, but you will also receive a link to set up your own Mixer. And we have, it's a great tool because it allows us to message to all of you as salon hosts, provide tools, talk points, notices, and other important information and relevant information to the salons, and following up after the salons so that you can then also pass that information on very easily to those who participate in your salon conversation. And it also allows us to be able to track how many people we have attending salons in a particular city from an aerial view. If we are looking at say Durham, North Carolina, we know that we have 8 salons in Durham, and each salon has 20 people, and we have exactly X number of people in Durham participating, so we can provide those aerial numbers as well. So we are really excited to use this, and I'm going to take you through real quick just so you can see what it looks like and you can get a sense of it. I know a lot of folks are like, well, I'm used to using Eventbrite or Paperless Post or creating events on Facebook, which are all great tools, and you'll see that Mixer is also very intuitive and very similar to a lot of those platforms. But because it is plugged into the national network of Higher Heights, it allows us to also be able to capture that data as well. So I am now going to share my screen with you, or attempt to. Let's see. All right. Share my entire screen. Share. Let's see. How does that look? All right. So so when you go to mixer.net, let me go back to the original frame. So www.mixer.net. Go to their page, and this is what it looks like. Lead like a woman, which we love just to begin with. So you'll see right here, the Truth Tellers Salon in Brooklyn. That is the salon that we're putting together here in Brooklyn. And then the other group is Truth Teller Salon Hosts, which is where we are putting all of our hosts for the salon conversations. So you'll get started by registering, clicking on register up here. And it is very straightforward with the information that they gather. It asks for, and we also have all of this in our salon toolkit that we'll be sending out shortly. But it shares, your basic contact information as well as it asks you for your interests. And we ask so that you find us very easily and we can find you. The interests that you select are politics, voting, and African American women. And then it does ask for your date of birth, and that is just because legally they have to make sure that everyone is over the age of 13 to participate. So I'm just going to go ahead and log in, and if you, as you poke around in Mixer, please feel free to reach out. We can walk you through the steps of actually setting up your page and the like. So where is our, so here's my profile and my groups. These are my groups. So the salon hosts. So that is the National Night of Sister to Sister Salon Conversations. This is the master group for Higher Heights Truth Tellers National Night of Sister to Sister Salon Conversations being held on October 16th. And as you add yourself to this group, you will be approved. It is a closed group and everyone comes through me. And here we will just message, it's very much like a event wall in Facebook, where you can drop in information about the salon. I can shoot information to all of you, and you will also get push notifications to your email. So you don't feel that you have to constantly check Mixer, but it is a great way to connect with people, connect to the broader salons. And then as you build out your salon, that's what they would call a mixer on the platform. You click on Plan a Mixer. What is your mixer about? What is the purpose? And this will be a draft one. So Higher Heights National Night of Salons in, say, Durham. And we will send around the video of this so folks who are on the phone can see. Durham, North Carolina, next, and then you give your mixer a name. And then the last piece is you can drop in your contacts. You don't have to share your address book. You can enter in the email addresses one by one, and then you are off to the races. And we will share with all of you content and imagery that you can use so that everyone who is participating knows that you are part of this National Night of Sister to Sister Salon Conversations. So as you are planning your salon, you may want to think about having a co-host. And as they say, many hands make light work. And it also helps, in addition to helping to spread out the responsibilities for the evening, it also helps broaden the group of people that you have at your salon. We've seen some really, really dynamic conversations when not everyone in the room necessarily knows each other, but then you have this opportunity to hear what others are doing that you may not be aware of. And that's, for me, where the magic happens, where women are able to network with each other and really share and build. And that is what we are all about. We are building a community. It's not, this is not a top-down effort. This is about making sure that you have the tools that you need to mobilize your network and empower your network to the polls and really increase their own civic engagement. So as you also start thinking about where to hold your event, these salons can be held in a variety of places. They can be held in, we've done them in people's living rooms, small apartments, big living rooms. We've done them in backyards, community centers, church basements, actual hair salons. Someone did one in a park. Wherever your people will be comfortable, we want them to make sure that they feel that they can speak openly and honestly, in a kind of in a safe space, because we recognize that when Black women are by ourselves and we have the opportunity to speak openly and honestly, it really is very transformative and really can break through things that wouldn't necessarily be shared in maybe a mixed environment or with others that are not part of our group. So look for a space that provides that ability for people to connect, and then also allows them to break off into small groups, because there is small group work as part of the salon conversations. And also keep in mind that we will be using this platform, Any Meeting, to connect all of the salons together for welcoming remarks from myself and Glenda Carr and a special guest that evening that will help frame out the conversation for your guests, and also really be able to show the connectedness of these 100 salons that are taking place simultaneously. So we're really excited about that, but make sure, if you don't have access, internet access, or have access to a laptop, a tablet, or a smart TV where you are hosting the salon, you can also have access to a phone with a speaker, because there will be a dial-in line so you can listen to the presentation as well. So we found that the ideal number of guests for a salon is between 15 and 25, and use the adage of invite 30% more than the number of people that you think will actually attend, because you want to account for fall off. We have also found that conversations of 40 to 50 people tend to be a little harder to manage, and not everyone necessarily is able to share. And that is very, very important, that everyone has the opportunity to share their thoughts and answers to the questions and the discussion. So these salons are not meant to break the bank. There's no need for a lavish dinner, just some light refreshments that keep the conversation going and keep everyone engaged will be more than enough. We are definitely gathering to work and want this to be as accessible as possible. You could even do a potluck where everybody brings a dish, but we want to make sure that at the end of the day, everyone is comfortable, everyone is open and sharing, and we have some great feedback about the priorities for Black women in 2018. So as your guests RSVP, and we'll drop this link into Mixer, we will be surveying all of the guests who are planning on coming to a salon, like I said, with a survey through SurveyMonkey. It's about 6 questions, and really just trying to get a baseline of what people's civic engagement is at this point, and so we can know where we're building to. And for those of you who have followed Higher Heights for a while, you know that we are constantly measuring where we are so we can know where we're going through our Status of Black Women in American Politics reports and other work that we do. Making sure that we have a baseline is always very important. So that is the purpose of this first survey that people will be asked to complete when they RSVP for the salon. So for those of you who may be on the West Coast or have scheduling conflicts that will not permit you to be part of the 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central time for the salons on the 16th, we can make the opening segment available. It will be recorded. And we just hope and really ask that you try and do your salon as close to October 16th as possible, because we will be messaging to all of the participants in the 20 days between the salon and election day. And we want to make sure that your participants have all the tools that they need and the support that they need to make sure that they're able to mobilize themselves and their networks to the polls. So as you are thinking about hosting a salon, a little carrot for you. For those hosts who sign up and confirm that they are hosting before October 9th, they will receive a physical party box from Higher Heights. And in that box will be one of our Black Women Vote t-shirts for the host, as well as Black Women Vote buttons for your guests, and GOTV toolkits, which provide all sorts of information, whether including links to all of the secretaries of state, so you can check registration, conversation starters to help mobilize your networks to the polls, as well as other information that you will find useful to make sure that you're able and ready to vote on on November 6th. So you may also want to encourage your guests to order their own Black Women Vote shirts before the event. They can do so at blackwomenvote.com/store. And then you can take a picture of everyone at your salon in a Black Women Vote shirt and post that on social media using the hashtag Black Women Vote. We will be pushing out social media prompts, and you can always post throughout the evening using the hashtag Black Women Vote to help show the huge numbers of Black women that are across the country participating in this event. So we strongly encourage you to, really invite a wide variety of folks. Make sure that folks have the time to really fully participate. And we want to make sure that these tools are accessible to everyone. One of the other things that we found that is very effective is we want to encourage everyone, whether you are a PTA president, a member of Congress, the leader of your own house, that we all check our titles at the door, because every Black woman has an amazing story and life experience that is valuable to this work, and no one's conversation or life experience is more important than the other, and we want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to really share. So the materials that we will be posting on our website and sharing throughout this whole experience are trademarked and copyrighted by Higher Heights, and should be used exclusively for the use of the Higher Heights National Night of Sister to Sister Salon Conversations. We want them to be accessible and shared, but we want them to also be used within the construct of what we want, which is to make sure that we are mobilizing as many people to the polls as possible. So a little bit about the timeline for the evening, and then I will open it up to questions to all of you, so you can think about your questions while I go over the timeline. If you are watching online, you can drop your questions into the chat box on the left-hand side of your screen. And if you are listening on the phone, you can text your messages to 646-206-5357. So as I said, we are calling the start of the salon night at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. So I will talk through the timeline in Eastern Standard Time. So at 6:55, we will ask that all of the hosts dial in or log in for one last tech check to make sure that everyone can hear and see. At 7 p.m., your guests should begin arriving. And at 7:15, the national call will go live. And that will be a welcome by myself and Glenda Carr, the other co-founder of Higher Heights, and a special guest will bring some national framing for the evening. And that should take probably about 20 minutes. And then right around 7:30, the conversation will be turned over to you, our hosts, for instructions to be given to your guests about the small group work. And then the groups will break into, your salon will be broken into small groups, depending on the number of people that you have at your salon. Generally, groups of 4 to 6 people will be really great to break down the questions. So each group will get a worksheet, which is in the packet, which will be sent out to you later on this afternoon, into the toolkit. And it has 4 questions. The first question are, what are your top 3 issues that motivate you to vote this year? The next question is, have you talked to Black women in your network about voting? Were they receptive? Why or why not? What are the opportunities to expand your civic engagement and voting potential in 2018? And then the 4th question is, what can we do individually and collectively to make sure Black women vote in the midterm elections and beyond? So through the conversations and the framing that we will provide and the talk points that will be in your toolkit and shared with your guests, we look for some really wonderful responses and input and interest in the responses for that section of the work. So at about 8 o'clock, all the groups should come back together to report out. And you can do it a number of different ways. I have done it where we go through all of the groups and they answer question 1. And then you go through all of the groups and have someone who is going to speak for the group, they answer question 2, et cetera, and go that way. Or there have been groups where we have done it where one group gets up and reads through all of their responses, and group by group they do it that way. So it's really up to you what feels most natural. We do ask that after you have all shared, that you take a moment to try and distill what are the common themes. Were there any themes that were repeated group by group, or insights that stood out that everybody really latched onto, and put all of those onto a sheet that will also come back to headquarters to be compiled in the national report. So then after that, which will probably take 20 to 30 minutes, then you can share with them the blackwomenvote.com GOTV toolkit, which will provide all sorts of information, like I said, about making sure that they have the resources that they need to be able to confidently mobilize their networks to the polls. There'll also be some information around voter ID and early voting and eligibility requirements that we hope that everyone feels are useful. And as you close out the evening, which will probably be right around 9 o'clock, make sure that your guests have provided their email addresses so that they can keep their eyes out for emails from Higher Heights and messages on Mixer about mobilizing their networks to the polls. We will also be posting information on social media that they can share with their networks, and remind them to complete the post-salon conversation survey, which will be sent out probably between Wednesday and Thursday of that week. So if you have any questions, I welcome them now. You can also email us at salons@higherheights.org. at higherheightsforamerica.org. Give us a call in the office at 646-494-9620. So let's see, we have a couple of questions. Let's see. How long is the entire salon approximately? It generally runs about 2 hours. We have done salons with about 50 people that had a lot of wine involved, and the conversation was fantastic. That ran for hours on end. But generally with strong facilitation and with these guidelines, it should take from start to finish about 2 hours. And yes, there was a question about the recording for this information session. It will be recorded and shared with everyone who is interested, who has signed up to host a salon. Is there a fee to host the salon? No, there is not. We really rely on a team of volunteers, namely you, to put together these salons and help us pull together the information so that we can continue to be the authentic voice for Black women, and also be able to arm our media friends with the resources and information that they need to be able to really authentically report on Black women's voting performance. So we will definitely be using the materials and the data that you share with us that come out of your salon. So really we are indebted to you, the salon hosts, to do these, to put these salons together. So along those lines, as we are planning on speaking with the media after the night of salons, the easiest way to get, and all of this is detailed in the toolkit, which like I said, will be going out this afternoon. The easiest way to get us the worksheets and sign-in sheets back to us is to just take a picture of it and email it to salons@higherheightsforamerica.org. If you can drop it into a scanner and send it as a PDF, that would be great, but we'll take PDFs, we'll take JPEGs, TIFFs, PNG files, however you can best get it to us so that we can have everything back by that Friday, the 19th. So that we can begin to really sift through it and be able to pull out the really strong, relevant, reoccurring themes to share with our stakeholders and members of the press, so that we can make sure that they are accurately sharing our story of Black women's performance and priorities this election cycle. Does anyone have any other questions? If anything comes to mind, again, you can email us at salons@higherheightsforamerica.org, or you can call the office at 646-494-9620. Give it another minute or so in case anyone has any last questions. When do you have to confirm by? Ideally, if you could confirm before October 9th, that gives you really about a week to pull together your salon if you confirm on the 9th. But if you confirm before the 9th, you will get a party box that is mailed to you. If you are not if you cannot confirm by the 9th and you confirm soon thereafter, you will receive virtual information. We just won't necessarily be able to ship it to you, but you will receive things. But I would say, however long it takes, you think it takes to mobilize your network and get folks to show up to something on a Tuesday night is the amount of time that you need. Let's see. Are you okay with orgs hosting a salon? Absolutely. We have organizational partners all over the country that are hosting salons in their name in partnership with Higher Heights. If you have an organization that you think is interested in or would be interested in hosting a salon, we are a 501c3 organization. So there are many churches and a couple of sororities and other organizations, civic organizations who are partnering with us. And if you have someone in mind, please email us at salons@higherheightsforamerica.org, and we will follow up and make sure that they have everything that they need, and we can put their logo on the salon invitation, etc. Is it possible to add another information session like this one before the confirmation date? We can do that. We will be posting this information session on the website, and we'll be sharing that out. If folks think that it would be helpful, we will definitely find another date. Let me ask you, is during the day, like a lunch hour like we are now, a good time, or would be doing it in the afternoon or the early evening be good? We had one on Tuesday evening at 7:30 Eastern that had several people chime in, and we're doing this one now. Thoughts? Lunchtime. Lunchtime is the right time. Very good. So stay tuned. We'll try and drop in another time for a salon webinar. I'm thinking it would probably be early next week. And stay tuned for your emails and social media. On our social media feed, we'll definitely announce that. Any other questions? Comments, concerns, thoughts? This is really, really exciting. We have Black women who've stepped up all across the country already to host salons, and we are definitely marching our way towards our goal of 100 salons, but we can't do that without you. So we really hope that you will consider doing this and bringing your network into our universe so that we can continue help make sure that Black women's voices, votes, and leadership matter in America. Well, without taking up too much more of your time, again, if you have questions, please email us or call the office, and we look forward to following up with you shortly and getting you confirmed for your salon. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day.